My Storm has made it to level 140. We finished up Karamelle in the live stream yesterday. And I also did some side quests at the end too, just to get some spell elements, because I think the Karamelle side quests are worth it if you're trying to level up your spell, because you get 2 spell elements per quest, sometimes even more than that. But I got musicology up to rank 6. I'm trying to get to rank 7, but you need a lot of spell elements to get that, so I'll probably farm for that at some point. But yeah, Sound of Musicology, I'm trying to get rank 7. That'll be pretty good. I think it's a good spell for Storm to have. But otherwise, you know, I don't really use this spell. You know, maybe I'll use it at rank 7, but it's not really that necessary because Bugs is just better. So I want to show you guys the gear that I'm using. And I've been using this since level 138 because it is technically level 138 gear. You don't have to be level 140 to use it. But, I mean, I just like to say 140 because, well, we hit 140. So here is the setup. So I'm at 191 damage. And I'll show you how you can get 192 if you swap out something else. It's pretty close regardless. You're going to be over 190 with this setup. But 191 damage is where I'm at. 29 resist. I think that's stayed the same. Pretty sure. Maybe a little bit more. But 40 accuracy, I like to stay. I mean, we've stayed at 40 accuracy for a long time. So I like to stay around that so you don't fizzle anything. And then 746 on the crit. I'll talk about crit once we get there, but yeah, crit is a little bit different than the last time I did a gear setup. So we'll talk about that, but generally being over 700 I think is pretty good, or around 750 is seen as being good for crit. Block still doesn't matter, you know. I don't think I've ever blocked in Karamelle. I have no idea. The enemies barely even crit, so can't really even test that. Block is kind of, I don't know. I don't really know if it exists or not, but it exists for enemies. So it probably exists for our characters too. But Pierce has taken a hit this time. We are down to 5 Pierce. So don't really rely on Pierce, at least with this set. There are sets that you could use that give you more Pierce. I was about to make one, but then I'm like, you know, it never really is necessary for me to get Pierce except for certain fights. And if I need that, then I'll just make a different gear set. Equip my other theme or something that has Pierce. 100% power pip. I always go for this. If you don't have 100% power pip at max level, then I feel like that's a really bad thing. You want to get max power pips. And then Shoutout rating is 121. Whatever that means. I'm also at over 6,000 health now, and I can even get more if I have the right jewels. But we're at 6,200, so that's pretty good. I also got up to 26 training points. I finished the Z quest and Karamelle, and I'm never going to really use these. I mean, maybe, but I kind of just hoard them. So let's move on to the actual gear. So here is the hat. It is the Dragoon hat, which we used last time. So this is continuing. We also have the set bonus, which I'll show once we get to the last piece of the set, which I've switched out. You guys probably already saw it if you look closely when I was mousing over the stats. Malistaire Robe is a staple since Darkmoor, level 100, and it's staying that. I don't know when / if this is going to get replaced. No idea, but it is still the best. And I think Storm is the last school that is still using the Darkmoor robe, or Darkmoor in general. I mean, I'm trying to think if other schools, I think Fire still uses the Athame, but other pieces, I'm not really sure how many schools are still using Darkmoor. But for Storm, the robe is still good. I know other schools have kind of replaced the robe, but it just goes back and forth. Like, it's good to have for, you know, every school, because this robe is probably good for most schools, but for Storm, it's the best. Still using that. Dragoon Boots, used this last time. These are super good, especially since they give the cards Sharpen and Potent, which is an extra one. It's an item Sharpen, item Potent, so you can add that onto the normal Sharpen. Super good for that. The wand is going to be the Skull Crusher from the Primeval pack, and I have a square socket on there that I haven't put anything on yet. Usually square sockets are kind of optional. You don't need it, but it can make you a little bit better if you want. So could go for that if I wanted to, but yeah, this is the best wand because of the set. And I can show you guys the set here for this one. So the set gives you an extra 6%, and the other, you know, to get 2, I use the pet. So we'll get to the pet, but yeah, that is the Fossil Warrior set. So technically with this entire, you know, setup, we're using 2 different sets, Dragoon and Fossil Warriors. So that's how we get so much damage. The theme is going to be the Aphrodite Storm of Thorns. And this one's also technically from Darkmoor, just the key boss there. But this is the best because it gives you power pip. It also gives you a high amount of damage. I've been using this forever. You know, I have 2 socketed 18 crit jewels on there. And I could upgrade those. There are plus 20 crit jewels now. So if I ever got those dropped, I could replace them. But you can also replace health jewels with 130 health. But that's not even that much health, so I'm pretty much going to keep this the same. So that is the theme from Darkmoor. This one is one that I've switched out. So we used to use the, the fly gobs. So we don't really need to use that anymore. So we're dropping pierce from this because we don't get the pierce from fly gobs anymore. We also don't get any crit. And we've done that because crit isn't as useful as it used to be. So we were able to say, okay, don't really need crit from that. I'll also sacrifice pierce and get this gear set bonus, which is pretty good. We can look at it. The gear set bonus for Dragoon is extra accuracy, 5% damage, and 140 pip conversion. So you get all 3 of these things for having 3 pieces. 5% damage doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually makes a difference, and the accuracy is always good too. So that's why we do that. You want to have 3 pieces of Dragoon, and this is the 3rd piece. This one is, it doesn't give you anything else. It gives you, the normal resist, gives you some block, but otherwise, we're basically just using this for the set, and it's good because it gives the Dragoon spell, the Squall Wyvern for Storm. These are like the new staple first turn hit spells that people are using. So they do more than the normal 4-pip spells for most schools that have them. And I think every school has a 4-pip spell, right? I think so. Maybe not Death. Death doesn't, right? No, they do now. They have Ship of Fools. But, generally this does more than the 4-pip spell for each school. And people are using that now. It's good to have it. It's good to farm for it and get that. Next up, this is the one that can be interchangeable. The rings that drop in Karamelle are absolutely insane. And I didn't expect to see these kind of rings in this world. But let me show you guys a comparison. These are the 2 best rings. One gives 18% damage and one gives 17. The reason I have the Director equipped right now is because of the crit. The crit of the Director is higher than the Executive. And it's also way higher because you can equip you can socket a crit jewel and a tier jewel. So I could get even more health if I, unlock that. But I think the Director is better, and I've also tested this. If you use the same, damage, same setup, but you just swap out the rings, the Director ring will do more damage on a high level mob than Executive. So that's why I'm using it. The crit makes up for the 1% damage. So crit is still good at certain levels. Personally, I think the Director is a better choice, but it's up to you. If you have Executive, you can still use it. It's still really good. It's like we're just trying to find a balance here. And the only way for me to really test that balance is to go into a world and fight the enemies with my different sets and just see what does more damage. This I found to do the most damage. 191% damage with 746. You can actually get 750 plus with the best jewels. So the pet is going to be the new all damage pets that people use. People use these before, but now they're necessary because, well, we don't need crit on pets anymore. So this is the best. You can socket either Thinking Cap or you can socket Mighty, whatever you want. You can also have Mighty or Thinking Cap in the pool itself. Up to you. But yeah, these are the best pets on the Philosaur. Storm Gulcher, best. And then also Stormy Paradox deck. I don't think I've gotten the Storm deck from the New World, but I feel like it's not as good. Do I have any Uber decks? No, I don't. But I think the Paradox is still the best. So using that. But yeah, that is all the gear. It's just weird because, we're going down in crit from last time, from level 130. But we're doing way more damage because we have 191, 192 if you use Executive. And also if you use Executive, you'll be at 700 crit. So you lose a lot of crit. And that crit does matter. You will do more with this setup than the Executive one, at least in Karamelle. And if you had perfect jewels, you can get over 750. But yeah, this range of crit is good. Over 700, I think, is still good. And everything else is perfect. You know, I like having perfect accuracy and power pip, because if you have to drop in power pip and accuracy, it's not worth going for that set. That's my opinion of that. So there you go. That's going to do it for this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed my 140 gear setup. And I know there's gear setups out there that can give you over 200% damage, but I don't like sacrificing power pip and accuracy. I don't think it's worth it. So I like having balanced stats, but also, I mean, I feel like now they're starting to get not really balanced as we get to 191, 192 damage, with the rest of the stats being pretty good. The only like unbalanced stat I would say right now is armor piercing at 5. But you can make up for that. So yeah, I like these stats. I think they're really good. And the only bad thing, honestly, that I see is the armor piercing. But other than that, super high damage. Maybe next time, level 150 or whatever, we'll be at over 200. We'll see. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you out, leave a like on it. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next time.